Geoff Hes Still Neal.
All right, hello everyone and welcome to MMA Island. I'm Zach Harkness and today I'm joined by the number 10 welterweight in the world and the top prospect, Handz of Steel himself. We have Geoff Neal today on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me.
The pleasure's all ours, man. This is pretty cool to have you on. So, first question here, and I want to go back to your very early career. Now, you started your career out at 2-1 before walking into Fortis MMA. Where were you
Yeah.
training before Fortis, and did you think that the move to Fortis would produce the results that it eventually did?
Yeah, I don't think it was 2-1 before I started. There was like some other record, but before I started at this place called Twin Wolves MMA back in Harker Heights, Killeen area. If you don't know where that's at, it's Fort Hood. It's like right by Fort Hood, Texas, an hour north of Austin. But I started my career there. Went to Houston, trained at 4 Ounce Fight Club for a little bit, came back to the Killeen area. Then I was training with the Fort Hood fight team. But I always my first pro loss is when I first met Safe. And he was always like, man, you need to come out to the gym, you know what I mean? And like he put the seed in my head and like I was always like, man, I need to figure out a way to get out there with him. And then for whatever reason, I just made that move and it was the best decision of my life.
Yeah, the results definitely have spoken for themselves so far. Now, in your second to last fight before the UFC, you took on current UFC fighter Kevinhaulin, and unfortunately did not come out on top. Now, ever since that fight, you've won your last 7, stopping all but one opponent. What were the things you took away from that loss that led you to go on the run that you did? Excuse me.
Going on loss, fighting Kevin was like probably the most like weird fight I ever been in because I've never been in a fight with somebody that was so relaxed. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he wasn't even fighting. It's like we were playing. He was playing a game in there, you know. And it was just like I went into every fight before him just like real tense. Like I'm about to go in there. I'm about to kill this motherfucker. I mean, I don't know if I cuss. I'm sorry, but you know, I went into every fight like extra aggro. You know what I mean? And he was in that fight just like he was. It was another day, you know. And he beat me. You know what I mean? Like he was in the fight. Not only was he super relaxed and didn't even look like he didn't even give a fuck about the actual fight, he finished me or stopped me. He didn't finish me. I was still standing. I was still awake, but he stopped me. So it's like, dang, man, I'm in this fight going like extra hard, like trying to kill a motherfucker, and he's in there just relaxed. Like, why can't I do the same thing? And since then, I've took a more relaxed approach to my fights after him, and I feel like it's been paying off.
Is there anything that you took like into your training? So was it mostly that mental thing about being more relaxed, or was there also some physical things that you helped in your training that helped you go on the run as well?
I feel like it was 100% mental. As far as training goes, I'm always that dude in the gym that works really hard. I rarely get people that outwork me, and if somebody does outwork me, it's only for a day, and then I'm back to outworking them, or we just in it. It's that thing. But I'm a hard worker. I know that the things I do in the gym are what you're supposed to do to be a champion. I just didn't have that champion mindset yet.
Right. Now, the one fighter in that run that you didn't stop was Belal Mohammed. Now, recently, Belal came to train with you for his fight against Lyman Good. Were you surprised at that? And what did you think you personally took away from those training sessions with him?
Ask that question one more time. My phone, somebody texted me and it kind of.
Oh, it's all good. I said the one fighter that you did not stop in that streak was Belal Mohammed. Now, recently, he came to train with you for his fight against Lyman Good. Were you surprised that he reached out to come train with you? And what things do you think you took away personally from training with him again?
I was kind of surprised, you know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of it takes a man to just put his pride aside and to be able to do something that he knows is going to better him, even though, like, you know what I mean, he's coming to a gym to a fighter that beat him. Like, you know what I mean, he's going to be training with a guy that beat him from a gym that's not even his gym. So it for him to put his pride aside and want to come train with me, I was actually talking to him like, the fact that you came and trained with us after we fought, like, it made me want to train and help you more, because like that just shows what type of person he really is to his core. He's not a prideful individual. He's only focused on being better, and everything else don't matter. And it was just good. It was good, and he's a great training partner. You know what I mean? Like, I see why I couldn't finish him, because he's a tough dude, and he does not quit. He's always on full go. So I'm glad I got to be a little part of his training camp to get his victory.
Is he going to stay with you guys, or is that just like a one-time thing?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to be coming every now and then. I know he's not going to probably be like full Fortis and move out here to Dallas, but I know we'll be seeing him more and more often.
Right. Now, at UFC 245, you became the first person to knock out Mike Perry, and you did it in spectacular fashion. Did you expect the fight that would end that way? Did you think you would knock him out? And can you run us through the knockout sequence from your perspective?
I never go in a fight just assuming I'm gonna knock somebody out, because that has been my the fights that I've lost because I've went in the fight I'm going to knock him out. There's no other way. I was expecting a 3-round war, but the goal for the whole camp was to be the first person to knock him out. I said it in a whole bunch of my interviews. I wanted to be the first person to stop him with striking, and got it done. But as far as anything else, you know what I mean, like the whole sequence, leading up to it, me and my coach, we worked on it in the back, and we pretty much planned that head kick. You know what I mean? Feint the left, go to the body, get his hand to go low, and then throw the head kick. And it worked out. And I wasn't expecting it to work out within the first minute 30, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He is one of the more powerful fighters. Is he the hardest puncher you've fought in the UFC so far, Mike Perry?
He didn't hit me.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't hit me. So I didn't get to feel that. But what I will tell you, there's one time I landed a straight left, and it felt like I hit a brick wall. I slipped his jab, I threw a punch, and he literally walked through my punch. I never felt that before. He's the type of dude that he sees the punch coming and he just goes into it. And it's crazy that he does that. You know, it hurt my hand. I'm like, dude, this is the first punch. Why does my hand hurt?
Yeah. And you were mentioning your head kick that knocked him out. And head kicks are kind of becoming one of your signature things. You've landed head kicks on almost all of your UFC opponents. How did you develop your head kick to be such a deadly weapon? And do you see it as your signature at this point?
I developed it. My coach, I got another striking coach. That was my main coach from way back in the day. Krukasip. He still comes to all my fights. And when I first started fighting, I was real heavy on the Muay Thai. You know what I mean? I don't know if I pronounced it right. You know what I mean? But I was real heavy on kicks and a little bit more of the flashy things. And he really developed my kicks to the point where I don't use them a lot, but when I do use them, they are devastating because they're still there. They're still in my back pocket. And I don't think it's my signature. I feel like my straight left's my signature, but my straight left is so fast and quick that it makes people lean into the head kick. So it's if I can't hit you with my straight, you're going to lean right into my head kick. And if you're too worried about my head kick, you're going to run right into my straight.
Right. Now, one of the things that the commentary team never fails to miss when you're fighting is the fact that you've worked as a server for a long period of time as a fighter. Are you still acting as a server? And do you get recognized while working your other job?
I still work as a server, yeah. And I do get recognized every now and then, but it's usually by the real fans of the sport, the people that really watch it. You know what I mean? I'm still not a household name. That somebody that normally doesn't watch UFC would just pick up their phone or whatever and order the fight just to watch me. So I'm working on that to be more recognized. But yeah, still serving, still doing my thing. Waiting until I get that big payday.
Yeah. Also, how does it feel to be able to beat up pretty much every other server on planet Earth?
Yeah, I mean, I never think about it like that. People always talk to me like, man, dude, you're this, you're that. I'm like, man, dude, I don't even think about that outside of the gym and outside the cage. You know, in my normal life, I don't walk around like I'm a fighter.
Right.
And I don't talk to people like I'm a fighter. I forget that I'm a fighter more than I remember. You know what I mean? That's not my identity outside of the cage and outside of the gym. My identity, I'm Geoff Neal, you know? Treat me as such.
Yes. Inside the cage, it's Handz of Steel.
Amen.
I have to ask about your fight with another one of the UFC's wild men in Niko Price. There was a point in that fight where it seems that he dropped you with a headbutt. Did you get hurt there? And what was it like fighting someone so unconventional like Niko Price?
It was super weird trying to fight him. What happened with the headbutt? I didn't know what happened in the fight. Looking at it after he hit me, he clipped the side of my head with a hook, which pushed me to the side, and then his head fell into mine. Whichever, I think it was the combination of the two that dropped me, you know. And it was a surreal experience, you know what I mean? I got dropped, and then I'm looking up at the fucking the lights, and he's jumping on top of me, and something crossed my head. I was like, hell no. you're not losing a fight like this. Like if I lose, I want to just like, not in the first round, flash knockout type thing. But it was real unconventional. It was so hard to train for him. Our game plan was changing every day. Like we'll have one game plan, then me and my coach would talk about like, hey, well, we might need to do this, or we got to watch out for this. And it was just so hard to put a solid game plan to go into the fight. And last minute, my coach says like, if things get crazy, just take them down and finish the fight like that. And that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, like you took him down. You just were like unleashing hellacious ground and pound, and you were doing it for a long time. Like he was not out. I remember you were like ground and pounding him for like a solid minute. Were you surprised that he was able to hang on so long with you just on top of him throwing punches at his face?
I mean, I wasn't surprised about nothing. The only thing I was thinking about, keep hitting him. I wasn't thinking about how many shots he was taking. I would have kept on hitting him until the ref, until he like, was fully asleep, but the ref pulled me off. I kind of got mad that the ref pulled me off so early because I don't like finishing fights where the person is standing up after. You know what I mean? I want to make sure like I got the job done because somebody could argue that it was an early stoppage. You know what I mean? I don't want to fight like that.
Well, I don't think anyone could argue that one was an early stoppage. And at the end, it looked like he put his arm around you and he said something to you that the cameras couldn't really pick up. What did he say? I always wanted to know this.
He was just smiling and laughing. He's like, man, I fucking hate you. Or he's like, I fucking hate you. I fucking love you. But it was just something. It was wholesome. It was nothing crazy. He just say he fucking hated me and then backdoored with it like, I love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a great fight.
Yeah. Now, your status in the UFC has been cemented with your 5 straight promotional wins, and those wins have gotten you into the rankings. Now, ever since you've been in the rankings, it seems that no one really wants to fight you, and I can't completely blame them for that. Do you feel like you're being ducked by the other ranked fighters?
Oh, man. No, I don't know. I don't know if they're ducking me because they're scared or they're ducking me because I have nothing to offer them besides an ass whooping. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it really is, but I'm getting to the point where I'm just like over. I've been trying to call out Michael Chiesa. I'm probably better just let that go because I really doubt he's going to fight me. So it's just like I'm just going to have to figure out something and figure out somebody else to target right now.
Yeah, because I heard that Chiesa is getting surgery this week, so he's going to be out for a while, and I don't think you really want to wait that long for a fight, right? Because you've already been out for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm done messing with Chiesa. I've tried to get under his skin, you know what I mean, call him a bitch and stuff. I'm not a disrespectful person, you know what I mean? I don't like to disrespect other fighters, but it's like, what do I have to do to get a fight, you know? Mm-hmm. And I kind of felt bad for calling him a bitch, but I need to fucking fight, you know? So if I got to call you a bitch to get a fight, then I will call you a bitch. But we'll see. Since he's out, man, I might start focusing on somebody else. I might have to look back and Neil Magny. I know he'll be down to fight me. I might have to pursue that fight.
Yeah, it seems like he's down to fight everyone. And before his long layoff, he just fought tons of times in a year. Well, that leads me to my next question, I guess. How many times in your ideal world do you fight a year? Because last year you fought 3 times a year, but there are other fighters who like to fight like 5 or 6 times. What is your like desired schedule activity?
Ideal 3 or 4. I'm happy with 3. 4 is great, but I don't want to take too many fights to where I'm burning myself out with a camp after camp after camp. You know, I do like to take time off in between my fights. You know what I mean? To mentally recharge, to you know what I mean, kind of like physically heal up little things that are hurting. But 3 or 4 is my ideal goal as far as per year fighting, and I've had 0, so you can understand my frustration this year.
Yeah. Now, the headlining fight of this card was supposed to be Usman versus Gilbert Burns, but now it's Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. Now, Masvidal stepped in on 6 days' notice. If the UFC came to you with a short notice opportunity with 6 days or even less, is it worth it to you to take on a fight on that short of notice?
Depending on the fight, yeah. 6 days notice, like something like that Masvidal did for the belt, yeah, I'll take something like that. But just like 6 days notice fight against some dude that I really don't know, nobody really knows, I was like, is that worth my my ranking, my you know what I mean, who I am as a UFC fighter, just to take a 6-day notice fight against who the fuck ever, you know? So it really depends. I'm down to do it just as long as the stars align and it's that type of fight that I need.
Right. Now, have you been offered any names at all in the year of 2020 so far?
Everybody that I've been named, like I don't know if I've been offered. You know what I mean? Me and my coach talk, and I don't know what he's being told. You know what I mean? He brings up stuff to me. He doesn't like directly tell me like, "Hey, we got offered this. Do you want this?" We talk about the people that we want to go after, and he keeps me updated whether or not that's going to happen. So I don't know what I've been offered, but I know what I've been pushing for.
Right. So, one of the key aspects of your success in MMA is your fight-ending power. Well, a lot of power can't be taught. It can be enhanced and harnessed. What exercises and training methods do you do to help increase and just sustain your insane power that you have over your opponents?
Ooh, honestly, I have a few things. You know what I mean? One thing I do is bag work. You know, like a lot of people when they hit the bag, they like they tap it. I don't like. I'll do that too, but a lot of times I'm focusing on power. There's like drills I used to do like right before practice. I'll go in the gym and it would just be me, and I'll do 100 punches, like 100 jabs, 100 straights, 100 hooks both arms, and then I'll do the kicks too, which got my kick power too, 100 kicks each leg, and I want to just hit the bag. Like I'll hit it as hard as I can for 100 punches each punch, and then I shadow box with weights and resistance bands and stuff like that. And like you said, you can't be top power. It has to be enhanced. So like anything that you do, if you want to be powerful, you gotta punch like you're powerful. Like, you know what I mean? Every punch has to be powerful for you to gain that power. So yeah, that's what I do.
And what do you think is the foundation, like outside of all those exercises and stuff, what do you think is the foundation of your fight-ending power?
Just I don't know. I feel like I just my internal aggression. You know what I mean? Whenever I train, like I channel that dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like if people that if you watch me in strength and conditioning and just anytime I'm working out, like I zone out into this, like, you know what I mean? Animalistic like mindset. So everything I'm doing, I'm yelling, I'm screaming. People are like, why are you yelling so much? Like, because I'm fucking working. What are you doing? Why aren't you yelling? You know? Why aren't you like, you know what I mean? Fucking just fucking dogging out and training like I am, you know?
Mhm. So all of these, like this hard work and a lot of your sustaining power stuff makes you stronger, I would assume, than most of your opponents. Have you fought anyone in the UFC that's been able to match or exceed your strength and power so far?
Not yet. Strength for strength, not yet. Mike Perry might have been the only one that probably could, but it never got to that point where we could test each other's strength.
And do you think your strength advantage over your opponents is a big part in you just winning these fights so spectacularly?
No, I feel like I'm just better than him.
Well, I mean, I would have to agree with that one.
Yeah.
Now, you fight primarily from a southpaw stance, which is, slightly uncommon, but nothing too crazy. But when you fight fellow southpaws, do you have more problems than you would with an orthodox stance fighter? And are you also as comfortable in orthodox as you are in southpaw?
I used to have problems with southpaw fighters just because I was like, there's a whole time where I was like the only southpaw. But now I've learned how to fight southpaws based on how orthodox people fight each other. You know what I mean? Like I was like, man, like I had a problem with southpaw. So there was one time I was just watching an orthodox fight to relay it to what I should do as a southpaw against another southpaw, and it worked. Like once I like picked up on a few things, because I was so used to fighting orthodox people, I would do things that I would do against an orthodox person. It would not work on a southpaw, and I was just like, what the fuck? What can I do? But I'm better now, and I'm actually working on fighting orthodox, not just to fight as my base, just to like switch mid combination, mid exchange, and I'm working on a lot of cool shit, and I'm really excited to show the world like the new things I've been working.
I think we're all excited to watch it. And now, do you think that you're as comfortable against fighting southpaws as you are against orthodox now, or is there still just a little bit ways to go?
Sparring, I'm comfortable as hell sparring a southpaw. I haven't fought a southpaw ever, but I feel like mentally I'll be able to translate what I do in the gym inside the cage. So I'm really not too worried about that either.
Right. So next question here. As I mentioned earlier, you still work as a server while being one of the top welterweights on planet Earth. How do you end up balancing your time and finding time to train effectively and recover while working a job?
That's a beautiful thing about serving is that's the reason why I've done it for so long and why I always fall back to it, because it's one of the only jobs that I'm able to make money whenever I need money. Like I could, if I'm never short of money, I could always just pick up a random shift while still have my same schedule, and I could work around my fighting schedule. So my fighting schedule never changes. Like my training schedule never changes. I just have to deal with extra work. You know what I mean? Like serving and all that. And serving's not is really easy work for me just because I've been doing it for so long.
Right. So I would assume that you would be done with serving when you probably get a new UFC contract, right? How many fights left do you have on your deal currently?
Well, can you redo that? People keep on blowing up my phone. It's getting annoying.
Yeah, of course. So I said that, yeah, you're probably going to be done with serving once you probably get a new UFC contract, so you'll renegotiate so you get the money that you need. How close are you to being done with your current deal?
How many fights I got? I think I re-signed the deal. I'm 2 fights deep into the deal I got right now. I think it's 4 fights. But if I get the right fight, or if I just crush the next person that I'm fighting, I can re-sign after that. Or if it's a good enough fight, I can renegotiate before that fight. So we just gotta. I'm just playing it out right now. We'll see what happens.
And do you think, say, before you renegotiate your contract, that you go into a fight and you get a fight of the night and performance of the night, double bonus, $100,000? Do you think that would be enough for you to stop working as a server?
I don't know. I probably will still do that. You know, because I remember when I first started fighting UFC, like I'm not going to stop working until I have $1 million in my bank account. I might really have to keep that vibe going. And I feel like when I don't work, I don't feel like myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been doing the serving fighting thing for so long. That's kind of what like defines me as a fighter, as a person. You know what I mean? When I don't serve, like I fall astray to other things. You know what I mean? And the fighting plus the serving, it really keeps me on the path that I need to be on.
So do you think you're kind of reluctant to stop serving because it's so what you're used to doing?
Yeah, that and I'm reluctant to find other ways to make money because that's what I'm so used to doing. I feel like at this point in my career, I'm not making buku cash. You know what I mean? So I can't just sit here and act like, you know what I mean? Shit can happen. Like I've been sitting out here for like 7 months without a fight. You know, the money from these fights that people act like it's just like, oh, you got all this money, like, you know, taxes and
Pay the
coaches
camp, yeah.
and then camp, the shit for the camp, and then I got stuff I got to pay, child support, my bills, like, you know. So I got things my money go to, so I can't sit here and not fight or not work. I have to be doing both.
Right. Now, a while ago, this goes back to one of the earlier questions. He sent out a tweet calling out 3 names, Chiesa, which isn't going to happen, Robbie Lawler, and Santiago Ponzinibbio. I know the Chiesa fight is probably off your radar at this point, but which one of those names out of Ponzinibbio and Robbie Lawler do you think would prefer? Do you think that they would take the fight, and which one do you think does more for your legacy?
Robbie Lawler for all of them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like because Ponzinibbio, I know he wants a fight because he hasn't fought in a long time. He wants a fight to get warmed up, get back in the mix, get that confidence back. You know what I mean? So I understand that he should still fight me. You know, I called him out a long time ago, but he had to deal with the staph effects and stuff. But I would love to fight Robbie Lawler. You know what I mean? It's just I kind of think he won't take that fight just because he's on the way out in his career. So he probably wants that legacy fight. Like he wants to fight. Maybe him and Tyrone Woodley would be the fight that he would want to take for his going away party.
Right. Now, one of your teammates, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, is fighting in Fight Island. I think he's the only member of the Fortis MMA team to do so. Even though it would be a fight, the conditions are still pretty insane with like the mandatory quarantines and fighting in the early morning. With all that being said, is that still something you would be interested in doing, fighting in Fight Island?
No, I don't want to do all that. I love the venue. I love the place that they're fighting, and I always wanted to go over there, you know, but not something I want to do for business. You know what I mean? If I want to be in that area, I want to be there for pleasure. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be there and having to sit in my hotel room and quarantine for this amount of time. Like, it's not something I don't feel like dealing with all that stress. The plane ride, like, nah, it's not. If you're paying me like $500,000, hell yeah. But for the amount of money I'm getting paid for, I'm not doing that.
So with the amount of money, would you be down to fight at the UFC Apex Center?
Yeah, 100%.
Right, of course. Now, being an MMA fighter is not something anyone can do, as you probably know. How did you first find your way to MMA, and what were some of the biggest hurdles you had to clear in your early career?
I kind of just really fell into MMA. You know what I mean? I was my whole life I wanted to be like, you know what I mean, football player and all that. but shit didn't work out for me. You know, like I don't want to get into detail, but I just pretty much found myself at this place where like it's like, dude, what are you gonna do with your life? You know what I mean? For whatever odd reason, like, you know what I mean, like fighting popped up in my mind, and then once that idea popped up in my mind, like it made sense, and I just joined the gym, went forward, and I really never looked back from that point, and it's paid off.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest hurdles you had to jump over in your early career? Because I know everyone has some things that they have to get over with training and early fights at the start.
That and it was a money thing. I had to. It was just hard for me to stay positive. You know what I mean? Because like, you know what I mean, every life always gets in the way, and I was never that dude. I'm like literally like from the start of my career to like kind of now, like I never like all these fighters. They had these like sponsors that pay for their training, that help them with bills, that like, you know what I mean, they get legit like money from sponsors. Like my whole career, I never really had that sponsor that was taking care of me. You know what I mean? It was me and my family and a couple of other people, like some, you know what I mean? And when I say family, I got friends that I consider family, like that helped me to get to where I'm at, you know? So I had to stay positive and had to like know that like, even though you're sitting here working like 40, 50 hours a week, you're going to get to where you need to get. And that was really tough because, you know what I mean? Stuff like that would discourage a lot of people, you know? But I stayed focused. I stayed positive. I stayed the course, and I got to where I needed to get.
Yeah. So your career really turned around when you joined Fortis MMA, and that's when you started becoming, you know, the fighter that you are now. So what do you think is it about Fortis and Coach Saif do you think is that good of a fit for you? What do you think it is that has made you so successful there?
You know, like, and then I'm gonna tie it back to football. When I played football, like we had like I was always on winning teams, around a winning environment, around winners. You know what I mean? Like my whole team when I played in Carpus Cove, I actually played football with RG3. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
we were winners. You know, and we carried it on our backs. Like, you know, we had coaches that would tell us what to do, and we would do it. And our only goal was to go to the state championships, and we got that done 2 years in a row. And it's like the same thing with Coach Safe. He has this vibe. Like he is a head coach. We listen to him, and everybody that I train with is only focused on one thing, and that's to be a winner, to be a UFC fighter, to be a UFC champion. And that energy gets passed on to everybody else. When somebody's feeling down, all you gotta do is come to the gym and get picked back up, because we all have that energy. And our coach is the catalyst for all of that.
So do you think that the energy of everyone winning constantly at your gym makes it a better and better training environment every time one of your teammates gets a win in a fight?
Yeah, that too. And it's not just the winning. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's the energy. It's the because we get fighters that lose, but they still come back, and they still, like, you know what I mean? I still get motivated by them just for the fact they took a loss and they're back in the gym like with the same mentality and even more fire. You know?
Yeah. So one of the scariest things for the welterweight division is that you aren't actually training full time, as you still have a job as a server. So hypothetical scenario, you say that you start training full time. Where do you see yourself at the end of 2021?
At the end of 2021, honestly, I see myself. I really feel like I could fight for the title at the end of 2021.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
really feel like it. I even wrote a date down to where I think I would fight for a title, and I really believe, like, especially now with all the stuff going on, it's lining up for that. So I'm ready to make this run, and I'm going to make it happen.
So how many fights do you think you're going to need to take before you eventually get the title shot? Because that welterweight division, especially at the top, is just a shark tank.
Depending on how my next fight goes and who I fight, that I think that will really decide it. If I have a 3, let's go. I'm gonna say 3.
Yeah, I think
3,
that's
yeah, 3, and then the title fight.
right. So the coronavirus pandemic hit the MMA world very hard, but it seems like it's just starting to pick back up again. And it's hit the training gyms especially hard. So I know the gym is open again. How different is your training during these times? And are you still getting as much out of it as you did before the pandemic?
At the start of the pandemic, heck no. Like at the start of the pandemic, I actually took like a good like month off, just because I had to. There's a lot of stuff I had to, you know what I mean, making sure everybody, my family was ready for the COVID. You know what I mean, buy like a whole bunch of stuff for people. My baby mother, she wasn't able to work from her job, so she had to work from home. And then my daughter couldn't go to daycare, so that was a problem. So we had to figure out stuff with that. But after a couple months, we the training, the gyms opened back up, and we started training again, and it has been like right back to where it used to be.
Yeah. So I heard this from your coach's perspective, but I want to hear it from yours. Your gym, Fortis MMA, is one of the top gyms in the MMA world right now, and fighters like you are one of the reasons why. What is the environment like in the gym, and why do you think Fortis fighters do as well as they do? I know about that energy, but why do you think? Is it about the coaching you think that helps them just win so much?
The coaching, it has to do everything, because the coaching's great, but the coach can only do so much. Like the student has to be receptive to what the coach is trying to put on them. You know what I mean? Coach Safes is a great coach, but he might not be a good coach for certain fighters just because of their mindset. And what's good is like everybody in our gym, we're pretty much like the same when it comes to fighting and our mindset. Everybody that I train with has either been like a football player, a star football player, a star wrestler. We know how to put our pride aside and be a part of the team. We get the team aspect of fighting, and that's what really helps.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think that's all the questions I have for today. I really want to thank you for coming on the show today, man. Is there anything you want to say to the people out there?
Hey, no problem. I'm gonna say to people, not even the people, the fighters, fight me and stop being that fucking bitch ass. Like I'm number 10. I feel like just because I don't have a name shouldn't be an excuse for people not to fight me. There was a point in time where you weren't that person, but now you want to act like you don't want to fight somebody. So it's like, dude, I'm number 10. I have a ranking next to my name. So take the fight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you one way or another. So let's get it done right now.
UFC welterweights, if you're watching this, fight this man, but be careful. Again, I would like Handz of Steel, Geoff Neal, for joining me on this show today. And I want to thank you, the viewer, for watching this interview. I've been Zach Harkness with MMA Island, and I will see you all in the next one.